how the mighty have fallen. Ross Barkley can't even find himself a club to go on loan. Saul looks like he's incoming. Kounde deal is off. And Callum Hudson-Odoi, brother, you're staying put. Let's get into this video. Welcome to the Kavkas View, brother. Here. It's good to see you lot. You already know, right? I'm the YouTube dietitian and I'm here to bring you all the news you need to know regarding Chelsea's transfer deadline day. Guys, today's video is an interesting one. There's going to be no ranting. It's going to be calm, collected. I got absolutely angry yesterday. It put me over the edge. So today's one is going to be a very mature, reserved, calculated video where we're going to talk about the 4 major stories from today. Number 1, Ross Barkley's deal to Burnley is breaking down. That will be at the end of the video because a lot of people don't care about Ross Barkley. But the 3 main deals: why Callum Hudson-Odoi's move to Dortmund broke down. Saul, why it looks like now, after being off the whole day, it looks like it's going to be completed with an option, not an obligation. And finally, why Jules Kounde is not going to be a Chelsea player and why it's fine. And we can look at the ramifications, look at the altercations that have been occurring all day. So let's get into it. But before we get into it, help me out. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. I'm not asking for much, right? It's literally 2 seconds of your time. 1, 2, you did it. Thank you very much. And in the comments below, let me know, was 80 million euros too much for Jules Kounde? Because I'm caught in 2 minds. I will explain later in the video why I'm caught in 2 minds. So let's get into the video now. Without further ado, we're gonna start with the Saul Nunes, the good part of the news. Alright, so we potentially might have a signing on our hands, and Saul is a very good footballer. He's a Spanish international. He signed the 9-year deal with Atletico Madrid. 3 years in now, they're trying to sell him and they're trying to recoup his value. The player has not had the greatest last season, spent a lot of time on the bench due to a formation change, but it looks like time for him to move on. Sometimes things go stale, you know what I mean? You could be a very talented person, you could be at a workplace for a long period of time, and things go stale. So the way we need to look at it now is, what is Saul coming into Chelsea to do? Well, Saul's coming in to be the 4th choice centre midfield option. With Billy Gilmore gone, we were dependent on Ampadu and Ruben Loftus-Cheek. This is not good in a lot of people's eyes. For me, it was perfectly fine in the sense that if we believe and have stocks in Ruben, why not trust him to be the 4th choice? If we don't trust him to be the 4th choice, why do we even have him on the books? That's one thing that we have to think about, okay? But what happened today? Atletico Madrid have been insisting they want an obligation to buy. They want an obligation to buy. Like I explained yesterday, it means they want us to guarantee we're going to buy him next summer for 35 million euros. Chelsea said, no way, Jose, this ain't happening. We want an option. The same way we had Mateo Kovacic, and now this is what looks like Chelsea are going to be getting. The player is pushing for this move. The player wants to play for Chelsea and he wants to play, more importantly, for Thomas Tuchel. Thomas Tuchel has got pulling power like it's nothing. Listen, this guy is amazing at attracting talent. Of course, people want to work with a Champions League winning manager for a Champions League winning club. So it makes concrete sense. It really does. But is Saul needed? This is the key question that we need to get around. Is it not overkill to be going out to get a 4th centre midfielder? Well, let's look at it from a standpoint where we're being positive and we're being extremely happy about it. Number 1, Kante, Kovacic and Jorginho aren't getting any younger. Kovacic is coming into the prime of his career, but the other 2, they turned the 30 clock and they're aging now. So can they do as many games? Kante's got a lot of hamstring issues. So Saul adds some structural defense and he brings him in, all right? So he can actually play there. Positional defense, that's what I meant. Then he can actually play in behind the striker as well, so he's very versatile. He gives us some security, he's very comfortable on the ball, feisty little character, loves a good tackle, good player. But the negative here for me is, do we need him? Is this not going to cause more problems? Because now we are rushing to go loan out Ampadu, rushing to go loan out Ruben Loftus-Cheek, because evidently we don't need them anymore. They're going to be 5th and 6th choice. This is poor management. This is poor organization of the squad. The board should have had it clear. If you're doing work on transfer deadline day, you have not prepared for the test well enough. That's all I'm going to say. The night before an exam, you should not be studying. You should not be studying. You should be chilling out, having maybe a nice little cuppa, put yourself to bed, and then tomorrow hit the exam. Sadly, Chelsea are doing work the night before the exam. So this isn't a good sign. But let's hope Saul comes in. Let's hope the deal gets done. Tomorrow I'll release a video with all the confirmations of the ingoings and outgoings. We'll talk about them and we'll grade the video. So make sure you tune in for that. But for that, you have to subscribe. Now, the second news. The second news about Jules Kounde. Let's get into it. The Kounde deal to Chelsea is off. By the reports at 6 p.m, it looks like the deal is off. And the reason it's off is because Sevilla absolutely shagged Chelsea. And that's the nicest way to put it. Look, Chelsea had an agreement with them that is going to be £42 million, 50 million euros. There was a verbal agreement, both teams agreed. The deal looked like it was getting done. Chelsea even spoke to Kounde's camp, got the personal terms agreed. All was left was all three parties to sign on the dotted line. Sevilla could not get themselves replacements, and Sevilla known with Monchi not to negotiate. And they're very simple. If they say no, they're not going to negotiate and bring you down. They're going to tell you a fee, and you're going to have to pay it. If you don't pay it, it's your loss, your problem. But now this is where things get a little bit sticky still, and this is where it gets very complicated. Number one, Kounde wants the Chelsea move. Chelsea want Kounde, but for a certain price, 50 million euros. Sevilla want the release clause met now. They couldn't get replacements. They're saying the only way you're getting him is getting him by release clause, which is 80 million euros. Monchi came out and said that today. He said the only way our players are leaving on transfer deadline day is if the release clauses get met. So do you see the predicament we're in? All of a sudden, Kounde is going to be staying at Sevilla. Chelsea aren't getting him in. But now we need to look at it. Would Kounde have improved that? Personally, I think Kounde is fantastic. I think Kounde could have come in, started at Chelsea. Not because he's better than Christensen and Rudiger at this moment in time, but I think because of what he could become eventually one day. So for me, he starts, right? You invest that much money, he starts, and he adds to the team. But is he considerably better than what we have? I don't think so. I don't think at this moment in time we should be going head over heels, panicking that the transfer window is going to cost us a league title. I think that's nonsense. I think we're better than that. I think we're more reserved. I think we're more organised than we want to give ourselves credit for. We have got 5 good centre-backs in the club at this moment in time. We've got Thiago Silva, Azpilicueta, Christensen, Rudiger, and Trevor Chalobah. Now that we have Trevor Chalobah, a lot of you were saying keep him. All of a sudden, he hasn't played for 2 weeks. The stocks have gone down. The buzz train is off. So calm down and be realistic about what this means, right? Then we've got Reece James who can convert into a right-sided centre-half, worst case scenario. And by the looks of things, Ethan Ampadu might be staying. We don't know. So if he stays, that's a 7th choice. Worst case scenario. I know a lot of you can say, what if we have Liverpool-type injuries? If we have Liverpool-type injuries, we're screwed. No other way to say it. But I think any club will be in trouble if that happens because realistically speaking, no club is designed to have 7-8 centre-backs. Like, it doesn't work like that. So, look, it didn't work out. Deal could potentially get done next summer, maybe even in January. We won't know. But don't be too upset. We're not in that much problem. I got a lot of stick from a lot of you yesterday. And, you know, I had to sit down and I rewatched my video from yesterday. I never rewatch my videos because I find it really awkward to listen to my own voice. It's me, you know what I mean? Like, I don't really want to watch myself. The only thing I do is edit the videos and then boom, I'll never sit down and rewatch the whole thing. But I had to watch it because a lot of you were saying I'm being too kind to Callum Hudson-Odoi by saying he deserves to start. I never said he deserves to start. I'm saying he deserves opportunities. And the fact that they don't want to give him opportunities is actually very worrying for me because it means he needs to go out and be loaned. This is all down to Callum Hudson-Odoi's camp and his representatives that we've got to this stage. They came back with the whole demeanor, we don't want a loan, he needs to play. All of a sudden now they're pushing for a move 2 days before to Dortmund on loan. How does that make sense? Like, realistically speaking, how does that make sense? It makes no logical sense. Tuchel's got it in his head that he's staying, so he's made plans, so hence he's going to stay. But I need Thomas Tuchel to give him some opportunities now because the kid's got tremendous talent and he needs to develop. Like, this is really poor from the club. Like, it really is. Because, like I just said early in the video, they are not prepped for the test. Imagine tomorrow there's a test. This is transfer deadline day. Test the day before the test. And all of a sudden, we aren't prepped because we're doing too much work on deadline day. Like, it's not right. You're meant to be dotting the I's, crossing the T's. We are learning a new syllabus. Like, we're trying to reframe something. It's not right. Like, this isn't how it's meant to work. For Callum's sake, I hope he plays some football from now till January. Otherwise, he will be pushing for a loan. Look, Callum missed out on an opportunity to go to the Euros. Why? Lack of game time. Absolutely lack of game time. And all of a sudden now, he's stuck in the same position, 18 months away from it, not even 18, 14 months away from a World Cup. I don't think he wants to go through that again. So it's the interesting part that we need to think about. But I'm glad he's staying in the sense that we're going to see him in a blue top. Hopefully we see him more than 4 or 5 times. Hopefully he actually gets an opportunity to cement his own place. Finally, with the outgoings, it just looks like Dujon Sterling's gone out on loan to the Championship. And Ross Barkley's deal to Burnley has collapsed apparently. This isn't good. This is not good for Ross. Ross could potentially be the cover if Saul doesn't work out. He could potentially stay and play in the double pivot. But he's not disciplined enough, and I don't think Thomas Tuchel fancies him enough. So it's going to be interesting to see what actually happens. This is the update that I'm going to bring to you guys. Ross Barkley's a talented player, and we all know that. He's just not Chelsea quality, sadly. So peeps, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. I hope you enjoyed this update. Tomorrow we will have a breakdown, the full breakdown of what happened in this window. We'll be ranking the players. I've got a really good ranking system. Woo! And we are going to grade the transfer window. So if you guys want to look forward to that, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and peace out. I'm out. Thank you for watching. Bye. Пока, братухи.